Greetings, and welcome to Countdown Bay, where today we'll be counting down the top 10 most dangerous cults in the world. Number 10. Scientology. The Church of Scientology was formed by the writer L. Ron Hubbard, who was accused of being corrupt and a liar. As one of the richest cults in existence, this religion has remained controversial since the beginning. Its goal is aimed at cleansing the human soul and mind of any negative thought in order to achieve its full potential, but the idea is not so simple. Participants of Scientology are brainwashed to stay a part of the cult because all other teachings are forbidden, along with mental health treatment not being a thing. To a greater extent, Scientology denies any abuse, and critics of the cult are allegedly killed. Number 9. The Unification Church. The Unification Church's participants are followers of Sun Myung Moon, a contentious political activist, and are dubbed Moonies. The church, which views Moon as a divine being worthy of worship, supports him in all senses. Moon has claimed that Korea is the chosen realm. He expects his followers to view him as the god they do think he is, and he has spoken out against the Christian church on various occasions. The cult was blamed for luring young people into the religion so they could worship him too, separating them from their support systems as well as their families. It has become such a negative influence on the youth that Moon is banned from several European countries. Number 8. The Ku Klux Klan. The infamous Ku Klux Klan, or the KKK, is notorious for their white robes and stance on white supremacy. Founded soon after the Civil War, the KKK once included over 4 million members who formed this group of extremist Christians. Their views on Jewish people, blacks, Catholics, and other minorities are incredibly offensive, but they're not just everything that go on with this cult. Their terror tactics and audacity to murder and harm participants of these groups make them increasingly dangerous. Additionally, the ability for them to remain anonymous allows them to thrive, as they may steer clear of any trouble without revealing identities. Number 7. Aum Shinrikyo. Aum Shinrikyo translates to Supreme Truth and was founded by Shoko Asahara, who faced criminal charges for murder and terrorism. Under the cover of a meditation cult, Aum Shinrikyo became increasingly hazardous. They were accused of forced donations, fraud, and murder. This cult was ultimately responsible for carrying out the lethal Tokyo subway sarin attack in 1995 that killed 12 people and crippled nearly 1,000. After this attack, the police discovered that the sect possessed enough poisonous gas to kill over 4 million people, a helicopter, drugs, and chemical weapons. Number 6. Children of God. This severely twisted cult, named the Children of the God, was founded by David Berg and is associated with pedophilia and sex. The primary belief practiced by this organization's followers is that sexual activity with children is not only okay, but natural and right. This group, based on the idea that the apocalypse is coming, uses flirty fishing to attract new members, and the children born as a result of this are known as Jesus babies. Children of God also uses young women by turning them to prostitution so they can lure more people into the fold. Needless to say, this cult has a devastating ongoing history of sexual abuse. Number 5. Order of the Solar Temple. Order of the Solar Temple is a strange cult that is based upon the ancient belief that the Knights Templar still exist and that salvation is solely available to worshippers who ultimately ascend to heaven. The cult was formed by Joseph D. Mambra and Luc Joire, who are now seen as religious figures as well as mass murderers. The activists in the group are incredibly secretive. The story of the cult's cruelty begins in 1994, when its participants murdered an infant seen to be Antichrist. Following this incident were a series of mass suicides, and to this day, cultists are being shot, poisoned, burned, and suffocated at their own hands and those of their leaders. Number 4. Branch Davidians. Branch Davidians is a doomsday cult that is built on lies, blind faith, and terror. David Koresh, the leader of the Branch Davidians, convinced his followers that those who opposed its views, including the United States, were not at peace with God. Koresh himself believed that he was a voice of God and the Messiah, and he used his power to get involved sexually with his female cultists. Later in time, the cult moved to a compound near Waco, Texas. At this location, in 1994, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives fired tear gas into the building, and it set on fire, killing 76 people, including Koresh. Number 3. The People's Temple. The People's Temple of the Disciples of Christ, better known as the People's Temple, was founded by Jim Jones, a Methodist priest in America. Jones started out as a charismatic man, yet over time he became more outspoken against the Bible and more paranoid about nuclear catastrophe. He ended up a twisted man, and using the ideal that the Bible is only white men's justification to dominate women and colored people, he fled the United States for Guyana, where incessant sexual abuse was reported. His congregation eventually assassinated a U.S. congressman, and finally, 918 of the cult's participants committed the largest mass suicide in history by being forced to drink cyanide-laced Kool-Aid. Number 2. Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate is a religion doomsday cult founded in the 70s, where the founders claimed that they arrived on Earth by a UFO from elsewhere. Heaven's Gate followers believe that salvation can only be reached by fleeing Earth before the Great Recycling. Since leaving Earth is too problematic, Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, the leaders of this strange sect, preached suicide as the answer to achieving salvation. They distributed videos on how to leave flesh behind to their followers, and then, in 1997, something incredible happened. On that year, Halley's Comet arrived, and Applewhite convinced his followers that a spaceship trailed the comet, and if they found death, they would be saved. Applewhite then ordered 38 people to take their own lives and said that the comet was the sign they'd been waiting for. Number 1. BBYO Chapter Al-Azhar 157. Found on the backs of naive young Jews looking to unite with their inner prophets, BBYO's Al-Azhar 157 took a turn for the worse when they began brainwashing young Jewish boys. Sucked into this cult as unwilling younglings, these members forcefully worship a Labrador Retriever dubbed Sister of the Sun, related to a decade participant of the group, Dave. They take part in extraneous rituals, such as tricks to believe that dogs and humans have switched positions in society, further swaying them from the light of Adonai, and they terrorize their detractors with no hesitation. Such a terrible impact has been made on the Jewish community by this cult that any relation with the members of this sect will result in severe repercussions by law. Thank you for watching, and please comment on what videos you'd like to see coming up next.